All right, everybody, settle down. Come on, everyone. Even come in the back. Come on, let's settle down. Be respectful. My God. Jesus Christ. Come on. All right. Now that we're all settled in, let's talk about the Northmen. So the Northman came out on April 22nd, 2022, and it stars Alexander Skarsgård, Ethan Hawke, Anya Taylor-Joy, Nicole Kidman, amongst many more, and it is directed by Robert Eggers, who directed two other movies, The Witch and The Lighthouse, which are two of my favorite movies of the last 10 years. So I was really excited to see this movie. It is a Viking tale, kind of a Norse mythology kind of tale, telling the story that seemed pretty basic on paper, a revenge tale, a king and his brother who isn't a king. It seems like that Hamlet kind of portrayal kind of film, and believe me, that's what I thought it was, and that's what I thought they were setting up, because the first third of this movie I felt was very slow. It took a long time to get going. I thought that I overhyped myself. I wasn't into it. Other than the cinematography, which is incredible. Jaron Blansky, who I hope I'm saying that name right, did the cinematography on this. He did the cinematography on The Witch, and he did the cinematography on The Lighthouse. And this is definitely his best work. I think that actually the star of this movie is the cinematography. It is beautifully shot. It is one of the best shot movies that I have seen in a while. This guy should be on everybody's radar. I hope that he is, and I hope that come year's end that this movie gets remembered for its cinematography when they're handing out all the tech awards at the Oscars, because this is a beautiful looking movie. There are shots in this movie that could be your wallpaper on your computer. I don't know if I'll be able to get any of this, any stills for this review, but if I do, I'll definitely put them in here, because some of these shots are beautiful. Mwah! Chef's kiss. Beauty. I mean, like, literally some of the best shots. I can't even describe to you how beautiful the color is using these dark tones, and they made another choice to shoot this in a different aspect ratio, just like in The Lighthouse, but not using black and white. The color really pops. Everything is dark. They know how to do set design and production design, because, I mean, beautiful costumes, beautiful sets that really make it feel like they are trying to nail the tone of when this was. Just like in The Witch and just like in The Lighthouse. They take a period of time and you actually believe that this is the period of time that they were going for, and they nailed it. It really felt like that. It also had that violent tone that you might not expect from something like this. Like you think Game of Thrones is dark, but this is way darker. It really, like, nobody I felt like in this movie had like they had redeeming qualities, but like everybody's kind of operating in that gray area. Nobody is a saint. Not like Shakespearean, but like in a way where everybody kind of has, there's something good behind them. There is just what caused somebody to be the way they are and how are they. And they also play with your expectations a lot. And I love that, because what happens in just before the third act, or I'd say midway through the second act, not to spoil anything, actually really surprised me. I did not see that coming, and really made me think about, like, what causes you to live the life that you live, and what if you found out that your whole life has been a lie? I'm just gonna leave it at that, but it really made me think, and made me take a step back and go, wow. You know, it really played with these Viking tales and movies just like this that you have seen, and then really did a full 180 on what you were expecting. And I love that about this movie, and it is beautiful storytelling by Robert Eggers. He definitely nailed that, because like I said earlier, the first third of this movie was very slow, paced very slowly. Actually, I looked up some pre-production, and the studio and Robert Eggers kind of were differentiating on where they wanted to go with this movie. He wanted a more artsy, slower movie, much like, I guess, to give you an example, like The Green Knight from last year, which I didn't love. I thought that movie was paced way too slow, and it just didn't nail at me. This movie started out like that, where I thought, okay, is it going to be just like that kind of movie? Am I not going to get into this? But by the second act, and then finally in the third act, it really built up to a beautiful conclusion that really had me sucked in and caring about all the characters, with some great performances in this by Anya Taylor-Joy, Nicole Kidman, Alexander Skarsgård, Ethan Hawke, even though I'm not going to tell you how much he's in this movie, but it's not a lot, and he nailed his small performance, and Willem Dafoe, again, in another small performance, who has worked with Eggers in the past on The Lighthouse, really nailed his job here, which isn't a surprise. Willem Dafoe is a gem. I've said it on this channel and I'm going to say it again. He is one of our world's best actors of all time, and he did it again here. What they give him and making him be a huge part of this story, I loved it. It was a lot of fun. And another thing that really blew my mind, they actually list, they list this movie as a historical epic, and this really did feel like an epic. The budget was reportedly around 70 million, and that really showed. They really got the best out of this. Movie was filmed in Ireland, and it felt large in scale, which is a lot different than The Witch and The Lighthouse of Robert Eggers' past. Even though this movie definitely feels like a Robert Eggers movie. It really has the horror aspect that you would expect from Robert Eggers, you know, that sense of dread, the gore, the violence, it's all in here. It is one of those movies. It really definitely gives you a cold feeling. I didn't come out of this feeling like happy or joyous, and it's not supposed to make you feel like that. It is not that kind of movie. The movie it's trying to be, if you know Robert Eggers' tone, then this is that kind of movie. But I will admit that this is a little bit more straightforward for Robert Eggers. Like, it's not, I don't really think you have to do as much. It's still there, but you don't really have to, like, unravel this yourself. I think they give you more of a closed conclusion, more or less than where you would have to make up what you think the story was trying to tell you. I think it really does lay it out for you more. It is definitely Robert Eggers' closest thing to what I think him making a blockbuster is. And actually, this movie, I feel like compared to his other two movies, has been marketed a lot. And actually, I think a lot of people are getting behind this, which is great, because if you haven't discovered Robert Eggers yet, this is the movie for you. There are going to be a lot of people who like this movie a lot more than I did. And that's just because this kind of movie is not my favorite kind of movie. A movie that's like a revenge tale told back like thousands of years ago. Like, I'm not that big kind of like sword and sandals guy, even though that's not what this is, and that's why I like this more than those kind of movies. But this is not my favorite type of movie. But that can't take anything away from the direction. I love Robert Eggers. I will be there for all his movies, no matter what. I think he's one of our best up-and-coming filmmakers, and I am there. But this just was not my favorite. Of his three movies, this would probably be my least favorite, but I still really enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed the cinematography. I enjoyed the acting, and I did enjoy the story, even if it's not my favorite kind of story. And like I said, it played with expectations. So if I was going to rate this movie, I would probably give this movie a solid 8 out of 10. Like I said, there are going to be people who are going to be giving this movie 10 out of 10, and it deserves that. Like I said, it's just not my favorite kind of movie, and that is the only reason I can give it a knock against it. But you should check this out in theaters. I saw this in Adobe Cinema at AMC, and I loved every second of the sound and the clarity of the picture. It looked and sounded beautiful, so if you can see it on a Adobe screen, please do. Or wait, I hope we get a 4K Blu-ray of this, because it will be beautiful and it will test your system to its max. Thank you for being here for my review of The Northman, and I hope you guys enjoyed if you haven't seen it yet. And please make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and tell all your friends.